Have you ever caught yourself saying, I can't, or it's not possible, only to see someone else has succeeded where you hesitated? That was me just over 3 years ago. I spent most of my time watching other people achieve all of their dreams and goals, whilst I felt like I was stuck in the same place, and I convinced myself that this is just the way it is. But I watched other people achieve all the things that they wanted to do. Fast forward to today, I've quadrupled my income doing something that I love. I work with 3 team members who I love hanging out with, and I have the freedom to work from anywhere. And I wholeheartedly believe that all of this started with a few simple changes that I made to my daily language. And so in this video, I wanted to share with you 4 of the most common phrases that used to hold me back and what I say now instead. The first phrase to stop saying is, there's a lot of competition. For a very long time, I had this belief that not everyone can make it. The system, the society, everything is set up in a way where only a handful of people can and will succeed. There's only one successful hire for every job post. There's only a handful of promotions. There are only so many potential customers. And with all of these things, you need to compete with someone else to be able to get it. And as a result, this idea of there's not enough made me play it safe for far longer than I needed to. Because if there isn't enough resources to go around for the things that I want, which is also what most other people want, then there is no way that there is more chance of reaching my goals at the next level. And there's this section in the 4-Hour Workweek which explains what I'm trying to say. And he says that 99% of people in the world are convinced they are incapable of achieving great things, so they aim for mediocre. The level of competition is thus fiercest for realistic goals, making them more time and energy consuming. You realize that the goal isn't to beat the competition, it's to create a monopoly or a niche where competition becomes irrelevant, where you can achieve success without the constant battle for market share. When I stopped thinking of the world as deficient, I stopped asking myself, how do I beat the competition? And started asking myself, how do I escape the competition? That's when my goal completely shifted and I started focusing on avenues where the landscape was less crowded, which for me meant pivoting onto the online space where very few accountants or investment bankers were. I've learned that whenever you are in a situation where you're thinking about someone else getting to what you want before you or having to compete with someone else and then taking what should be yours, really evaluate what race you are part of and how you can change your approach or the way you do it so that you're running your own race. Number 2, more is better. There's this quote from the book, The Almanac, which is, desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. If you watch some of my earlier videos, you will see that I struggle with this one. I had this drive for more and more all the time. How did I make 6 figures by 25? How to become a millionaire by 32? I do believe on one hand that you can't attract a lot of wealth into your life without having a clear goal or a desire to do so. But equally, I've come to realize that equating more with better is a flawed mindset. And as long as you always feel this way, you will never find the time to be fully content. And for me, I found that every time I reach a milestone and look back, I realized that the build-up to that milestone was in fact the most fun and that there was no need to rush it. And we all do it. We focus on the next house, the next car. We put ourselves on this hamster wheel. And as soon as we get going, it's then very hard to stop. It's addictive. And no matter how many people you pass up, how much more you have, you just can't win. You will never arrive. So something that I'm consciously doing now is putting more emphasis on the personal growth side of my goals. Even if it means getting to my revenue goals a bit later, that's okay if it means I'm enjoying the journey to that goal and not compromising my self-worth for my net worth. By the way, this idea of more is not always better doesn't just apply to material items or money goals, but also to digital items. And that's where I am super excited to mention today's sponsor, Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac is an app that I swear by. I decided to give it a go as a last resort before spending money on a new MacBook, and extended that Mac's life by another year. With just one click, the Smart Scan does cleanup, removes malware, and speeds up even the most dead slow Mac in under 2 minutes. They've got this menu app, which is a little dashboard that tells you everything about your Mac's performance, battery temperature, how much space is left, what's the speed of the internet connection. If you want to declutter your Mac and your digital items for free, you can do it yourself. Just watch this hilarious 9-hour tutorial. It's the tech equivalent of watching paint dry. It just demonstrates the value of a one-button solution to do your Mac cleaning for you and just how tedious it is to clean your own device. Or you can get a free 7-day trial of Clean My Mac. Try it out, run the scan feature and everything else, and see for yourself how much of a difference this app will make to your Mac. If you do then decide it lives up to your expectations and you want to continue, then you could also get a 20% discount using the code Nischa. Link is in the description below. Number 3, saying I can't. People who become successful or get anywhere in life would look at a new opportunity and say, here are all the ways that I can make this happen. Whereas everyone else would say, here are all the reasons why this can't happen for me. As soon as you take no for an answer, you take yourself out of the equation. And there's this situation that I always think of. Before 1954, running a mile in less than 4 minutes was considered impossible. Doctors, scientists, they speculated that the human body was simply not capable of sustaining the pace required to break that 4-minute barrier. And naturally, therefore, the mindset of runners to break that 4-minute mark was, I can't. And then Roger Bannister, who was a runner and also a neurologist, approached the challenge with a different mindset. He combined his training with scientific methods and changed his mindset from I can't to I can, and crucially, to I will. And in 1954, he completed that mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Just a few years later, after this breakthrough, so many other runners also started breaking that 4-minute mark, which just shows that this barrier was a psychological one. Adding just the word yet makes you approach any opportunity with a completely different mindset. It gives you the courage to go for things and rethink the limitations that you put on yourself. Take inventory for what is in your control, because there is a lot. And number 4 is one or the other. Sheryl Sandberg wrote in her book Lean In, when we're stuck making decisions based on the way people have always perceived things, we limit where we can go. Society's expectations often present us with these false binaries. We're told we must choose between, for instance, being a good mother or pursuing a successful career or being successful and being kind. It's just restricting us to believe that it's one or the other. You can't have both. And I always go through these it's one or the other situations at different points in my life. And I'm going through it again. And I understood this concept of bicycle face, which really helped me understand that a lot of these things are just society's ways of telling us how we should be and act, not how it needs to be. And what it is, it's in the late 19th century, there was a myth called bicycle face. And this was a scare tactic to try and discourage women from cycling. The myth suggested that the effort of cycling and the independence that it gave women could harm their health and their looks. In the same way, society often places these binary labels to place pressure on people to be a certain way. Just as bicycle face was a fear to stop women from breaking traditional norms, the idea that women can't excel in both their career and motherhood perpetuates these outdated beliefs. But in reality, there is nothing that says we can't lean into the personality of having both. Just as women pushed back against the stigma of bicycle face to control the decisions that they're making again, we can also break free from any other limiting belief that we must choose one path over the other. When there is something that is holding me back from pursuing something or making a decision, I question where that belief has come from. 9 times out of 10 is what people perceive. And in that case, it reminds me that I don't need to limit what I can do just because of what someone somewhere else thinks. So these are some of the things that have really worked for me and how I'm reshaping my mindset even today to continue achieving the things that I want to do going forward. If you like this video and you're more into the mindset side of finance, then you'll also enjoy this video that I have right here on 6 habits that made me 6 figures by 25, and also this video on millionaire habits that changed my life. See you there.